Here we go.
Ben Avery, quiet down, please. Pipe down. A little too much of you. Here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which I'm doing shows here on Monday and Tuesday night. I lost my voice. I came in on Friday, 2 shows, great. Saturday, woke up, could not speak. Called my agent, said I can't do it. He's like, we should get you a steroid shot. I said, we can try it, but there was no doctor in Milwaukee that could do that. And so I felt bad because some people, drove hours from Eau Claire and, other places to go see me. And I felt like shit, but there's nothing I can do when I cannot fucking speak. And you knew that I couldn't speak.
Yeah, you talked to me on the phone.
Don't speak. But just nod. They know you're agreeing with me. You don't have to go in and do a whole thing. You're getting very loquacious. And unfortunately, I had to cancel Saturday and now making up for it Monday and Tuesday in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Traveling to an undisclosed location to do an interview about the smiley face killer. The smiley face killer. We do this every Halloween. We beat this theory to death every Halloween. We beat this one. We just flog it. We don't know if it's true. We don't have any information. But when it comes time for a good episode along the lines of a conspiracy that's apolitical, kind of. It's not a conspiracy that has any political ramifications, although the people supposedly being thrown in the river are young men. They're overwhelmingly white. They're from good economic backgrounds. You can draw your own conclusions, and I'm sure that you could build a socioeconomic angle here around it, but it's young men who get separated from their friends. They leave a party. They are then found 3 months later in a river. That's a smiley face killer theory. Then in and around the river where they are found, you get a smiley face, a doodle, graffiti of a smiley face. And the idea here is that the young men are being sacrificed. They are being stalked by a team of elite but vengeful ne'er-do-wells, perhaps, that are angry that they didn't get into such elite schools like, I don't know, the University of Wisconsin. What are we doing here? But apparently these people are poor and jealous and throwing these kids into the river. But we don't believe that, because we know that poor people don't execute things with this type of military precision. When people are poor and desperate, they tend to do things like put a gun in your face at the ATM, not stalk, run surveillance and counter surveillance and figure out how they can get away with it, abduct. And a lot of these people supposedly that are found have GHB in their systems. Now, finally, we are speaking. Now, do you remember the episode that we did last year, Halloween?
Halloween episode last year?
Not Halloween. Maybe it was 2 years ago. The smiley face killer episode.
Yes. I can't recall last Halloween, but 2 years, yes.
Okay. You can't recall last Halloween either?
We did that one with John Billman, right? And then I'm trying to think.
Where people are vanishing in the national parks.
And then we dressed up, I dressed up like a Native American. You dressed up like Ghislaine, I remember. That was a fun episode.
I don't think I was dressed up like Ghislaine.
Well, you had one of the masks on from like an Eyes Wide Shut type party.
Yeah, okay, you're right. The kid that I spoke to, who I met in a very happenstance way, I never met him, but the guy that was hosting for me in Madison, Wisconsin, oh yeah, my friend was maybe a victim of the smiley face killer. He thinks you should talk to him. And I called the guy. He was a nice guy, and he just told me about going to a bar, meeting a girl, going to another bar, her having a bunch of friends there, him thinking that was kind of weird, and then blacking out and waking up on like a dam. And it was a freaky episode, and a lot of people liked it. And that guy is a guy who was not looking for fame. He did not contact me. He doesn't want notoriety. He didn't use his real name. He wanted to remain, anonymous, and I've kept him anonymous. I literally don't even know who it is. Like, he was a dude I spoke to on the phone. It could have been, I guess he could have been making it all up, but it would just be a weird way it would be an odd troll, right? He believes, and he sent me the photos of the actual smiley face graffiti that they found. What it is they're stalking young, athletic, really hot college guys. So I have walked around Milwaukee terrified. And I've put my pussy by the river to see if they'll throw me in the river. I want to get thrown in the river. Bad. I want it bad. I want to get put in that van bad. But no one has, because I have blended in here with the rest of the cheese people. But tomorrow we're taking a trip, a little road trip, to go talk to a guy who I believe is credible. He's written about it. We're here. We're in the area. Let's go give it a shot. What is your initial feeling on this? Because, I could go either way on this. I really can. I don't know that this is happening or not happening. Some of these cases, it does seem implausible that all of these young men end up in a river. Weird. But it is equally implausible that nobody has talked. Not one botched operation. They've got cells in all these different cities. However, not one of them is like the weak link. Nobody? There's no cell where they're not really good with the details. There's no cell where they're like, fuck. Like, they are not good. Like, there's no cell where they just totally fuck it up. I mean, maybe there are botched attempts, but we don't hear about it because nobody dies. That's a good point. Right? But we're going to talk tomorrow to that guy. Did you hear about this? I want you to get this up. They're thinking of banning gifted and talented.
Oh, really?
They're gonna. Why are you upset about that?
I was in that. It made me feel special.
No, you were not. Why are you lying?
I was in that.
You were not in gifted and talented.
Yes, I was.
Ben, you didn't even go to a real school. You went to some fucking Jesus freak True Detective school. Stop saying I was in gifted and talented. I'm gifted and talented. You press a fucking button. What are you talking about? You were in gifted and talented. For what? For doing what?
I don't know. They put me in it.
In what grade were you in it?
Second grade through 6th or 5th.
And what did it even entail?
I don't know. They would just give us, they would give us books at a higher level of I was reading the Harry Potter books when I was in 2nd grade or whatever. I can't really remember.
That's what they get. So that was your school's version of gifted and talented, giving you Harry Potter.
And I think we got to go to Toys R Us.
That was your school's version of gifted and talented, letting you go to Toys R Us and then letting you read Harry Potter.
That's what I recall. Yeah.
Because they thought you could handle it. Because the rest of the kids, they didn't want to give it to them because it's the devil's work. But for you,
perhaps
because you were gifted, my gifted and talented, I was in 3rd grade, and they made us watch The Voyage of the Mimi.
Straight up.
Get up The Voyage of the Mimi right now. It's about oceanography. It had nothing to do with anything, and it gave me no skills that I needed for life. Read about The Voyage of the Mimi, please.
Okay.
First of all, gifted and talented is such a goddamn scam. And here's why I'm for banning it. And I know Weinstein and all these guys are upset about it because they're like, it's China. And yes, is it communism? Maybe. But here's why I don't mind banning it. If these kids are so fucking gifted and talented, kick them out of school and let them work at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. No, I'm dead serious. If you're in 5th, 6th grade and you are gifted and talented, nobody has a job, everybody's resigned, we just went through the Great Resignation, college degrees no longer matter that much to employers because nobody's working. Let the kids that are gifted get me a car at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I'm sick of dealing with 30-year-olds who don't have a fucking brain. Get a 6th grader who's happy to be out of school, who's happy to be working. Dead serious. There's not a joke to be had here. If they're that gifted and talented, stop with the horse shit. Get them out of school and into the workforce immediately. Can they check you into a hotel? I believe they can. A 6th grader who's gifted and talented can say, I need a photo ID and a major credit card. It's a fact. They can say, give me your driver's license. What kind of car would you like today? At the Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I don't think that's a problem. Because we have right now people are leaving their jobs because they want better jobs, which I am sympathetic to. I've done that many times in my life. I am not shitting on the people leaving jobs for better jobs. What I'm saying is those jobs need to be filled with gifted and talented children. That's all. So why are they getting rid of...
Well, real quick, the Voyage of the Mimi.
Well, here's what I want you to do, though. You should have several windows open.
I do. I got the NYC schools open, and I got the Voyage of the Mimi.
But before we get to the Voyage of the Mimi, why don't we do what I'm asking you about, which is the gifted and talented?
I got it right here.
Great. But
So,
don't you see why we do the several windows?
yeah.
So that you can...
But I have several
seamlessly-
windows.
I understand. So why were you interrupting me to go to Voyage of the Mimi?
Because you asked me to bring up Voyage of the Mimi, I thought you were trying to get to that first.
Do you not trust how I'm doing the show?
No, I trust you.
I understand that. So when I'm saying, can we find out why they're getting rid of the gifted and talented program? Can we just go to that?
So this is New York City. This is de Blasio, confirmed Friday.
Right.
They're phasing it out, ending a program right now. The mayor officially announced a long-awaited transition on Friday, confirming a move he first proposed in January. Students in first grade and up who are already gifted and talented will be permitted to complete the program, but no new classes are being formed. So the kids that are already in it are going to finish, but then it's just going to phase out.
And what is the reason being given for this? Because we don't want to create an idea that there's some kids that are better and smarter, and we know that.
So the mayor says, we're ending something I thought was unfair all along. We can't pretend that a lot of our schools are in a better place than they are. We have to bring them up. Everyone has kids that can benefit from accelerated learning. A lot of them have been ignored. That's the reason. So engagement is a critical part.
So we got a lot of stupid kids,
Mm-hmm.
and in order to somehow help those kids, we're also going to pretend like no one's smart.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
That's the game. The game is to pretend that everyone's an idiot. Okay, let's just be honest about that. We have stupid kids that have cognitive issues. Maybe their parents don't give a fuck about them. They didn't read to them when they were young. Whatever the problem is. They're not around. The kids ate paint chips. I don't know. But there's a lot of kids out there, let's be honest, they're throwaways. They're throwaways. You know? The world has thrown them away. I don't like that. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but their parents, the society, the school system, the kids are thrown away. But then there are some kids doing well, and we're going to try to lower the threshold of what they can do as a way to make things better, instead of focusing on the kids that we threw away.
Yeah, and they want to do so without separating classrooms, it says here. So they will pay special attention to children with unique abilities, but will do so without separating classrooms.
Well, because that's what gifted and talented was, right? They would come in and they would say, everybody that's a gifted or talented person, GT, we called it GT, come. But not everybody had to be in GT. Most of the people that were in GT grew up to be ugly. Many of my Italian friends who were not in GT had beautiful, huge cocks and were very toned and good-looking people, but they weren't in gifted and talented. But they had a better life. So this weird demonization of this program, like, it's because now we worship nerds. That's why we're like, oh, let's take this away. Nobody in my school was cooler because they were in GT. They were nerds. I was just in it because I was an actor. I don't think I was even in it intellectually. I was in it because I had a job. And people were like, oh, you're clearly gifted. you're a working actor, which I was. So they put me in it. And I would teach the class how to suck cock. Like every week they would bring me up and I would teach everyone in 3rd grade how to suck dick. And that's why I was in it. And I also had some good numbers on the test. But we gotta stop pretending like this is everything. I mean, you know, gifted and talented doesn't mean you're gonna have a good life. Truly. It does not mean you're gonna have a good life at all. So I don't know why we have to get rid of it, but I guess I understand the whole idea. Gifted and Talented was fake in my school. We just watched The Voyage of the Mimi. Truly. It's all we watched. It's The Voyage of the Mimi. Can you tell everyone what The Voyage of the Mimi was now?
Yes. So The Voyage of a Mimi is a 13 episode...
The Voyage of the Mimi.
The Mimi.
Can you please repeat it?
It's The Voyage.
This was Gifted and Talented, which is fake. It doesn't exist. It's a pedophile that gets 8 to 10 kids in a room twice a week and tries not to fuck them. That's what it is. It's a virtuous pedophile who wants to talk to kids who are a little more mature so he has a better chance at getting them to fucking fuck. That's what it is.
Okay, so...
Please describe the curriculum for the show, which was The Voyage of the Mimi.
Okay, so it is a 13-episode American educational television program depicting the crew of the ship Mimi exploring the ocean and taking a census of humpback whales. The series was on PBS. It was created in 1984 to teach middle schoolers about science and math in an interesting and interactive way where every lesson related to real-world applications.
The Voyage of the Mimi. That was the entirety of our Gifted and Talented. We watched this dumb, meaningless mini-series where people were like oceanographers on this boat. And they were going out to like map the ocean floor and then find whales. This is all.
It was starring Ben Affleck.
Was he in it?
That's what it says. He says he was a star. He was CT, Clement Tyler Granville.
God, when was this made?
84.
He very well could have been. I'm sure he was. I don't remember it. But this was the curriculum for the gifted kid. This is what you got if you were a gifted kid. You got to watch Ben Affleck look for humpback whales on a boat in 1984. And now we're not letting kids do that anymore. And it enrages me. It's enraging. And the idea that you would pretend that you were in a Gifted and Talented program when we both know you did not even attend a real school. You went to a Jesus freak school. And the idea that you pretend, but you did not attend a real school. Am I correct about this?
No, it's like a real element. Like,
what was it called again?
Buffalo Gap Elementary.
Can you stop? Buffalo Gap?
Yeah.
What even is that? What does that mean?
It was between 2 big hills that was the gap the buffalo would go through when the Native Americans
Isn't
would, like,
your school named for a guy who just like scalped Native Americans?
So you would go from that school to Gymnet High School, and he was a Native American who was a traitor to his tribe and like told the white man where the tribe was so they could go kill him. So then we named the school after him.
So you went to, what was it called?
Gymnet High School, and then elementary school I went to Buffalo Gap.
So you went to Buffalo Gap for elementary, and then for high school you went to Kansas Owens High School. Jim Ned. Was that his real Indian name?
It's his real name, yeah.
And he was the one who said, listen, the tribe's over there.
Yeah.
Get him.
Yeah, I kind of summed it up quickly, but I think that's pretty much what it is. He was a traitor.
And they said, we're going to make him, does he have a statue outside the school?
Yeah, he does, actually. There's a statue of him somewhere.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
And do they make him look white? Do they put him in like a suit? You know, like, I think he would have wanted that, right?
Yeah, probably.
Wouldn't Jim Ned have wanted that?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm glad you got to read Harry Potter.
I was just a kid that read a bunch of books. So, like, I lapped everybody in the book reading with accelerated reading and stuff, so they just put me in it.
Well, let me be the first to say, congratulations. When I met you, you were working at pet stores, so all that gifted and talented definitely helped. That put you on the right track. Put you on the real good track, huh? Gifted and talented. I say fuck them. Make them work. Make them work. Make them work. We're nearing the end of schooling. Do you feel it in this country? And I'm very excited about it. We're nearing the end of education. College has been it for a very long time, been a fraud. Okay? The amount of loans that people take out, the amount of money people are saddled with debt. They graduate with meaningless degrees. They flounder. They have to pay those loans back, or somebody does. The entire system is built on fault lines. Like, it's not sustainable. People know that. College isn't even fun. It's fun now for certain people, but the vast majority of them, it isn't all that much fun anymore, especially because of COVID now, all the restrictions, on top of how sensitive everybody is. I mean, there's a few party schools left, but like everything, these colleges are these weird Stalinist conformity factories where everybody's crying and upset about everything. They're creating this class of sexless drones that are afraid of themselves and their bodies and each other. They're afraid of ideas. I mean, they're horrible people. Truly, I mean, anyone under 30, I cannot have a conversation with anyone under 25 unless their family was burned in front of them, like burned alive. The only kids that I can really talk to, like young people, are people that have experienced incredible levels of tragedy, or I can't even do it. Like the guy featuring for me this weekend, he's a sweet kid, but he goes, I don't eat red meat because of the environment. Immediately, what am I supposed to say to that? You know what I said to him? I went, you're an idiot. That was my response. You're an idiot. That's all I said. I don't mind people having personal beliefs and discipline, but do you think you not having a steak is going to save the environment? What about the middle class in India and China? Rising standards of living. All these emerging powers. You know, I mean, this idea that like, but he flies around the country to do stand-up comedy and barely gets paid for it. He barely gets paid. He flies around the country on a jet. Not a private jet, but he flies in a plane around the country to do stand-up comedy and not get paid for it. And yet, he refuses to have a burger for the environment. And they don't have a problem. See, this is what they don't understand, young people. Anything in the pursuit of their goal is okay. Any allowance can be made in pursuit of the thing they want to do. They can planes, trains, automobiles, it's all good. As long as I'm helping them realize my dream. It's about me. But he probably doesn't even like red meat anyway. I have friends that don't eat red meat because they don't like it. So it's an easy thing to give up. So people go, oh, I'm actually not eating because it's the environment. And then he goes like this, he goes, yeah, I don't do a lot, but it's just the one thing I can do. I'm like, no, you could do a lot more. You could not be on a plane to do comedy in a brewery for no money because that actually contributes to global warming as well. Planes! Imagine that. So this is why it's difficult to deal with younger people, you know? And not always, you know, some of them I can get to a detente with, but the vast majority of them, it is the, but I think my problem is with the uneven application of their principles. They're very unevenly applied, and so that's my issue. That's across the board with these people. Yet they pretend to have these principles and hold them so dear and judge everyone who doesn't. But they're applied in a very sloppy way. And that I can't get with. Can't get down with that. You know, I have, friends, younger friends that are gay, and, they're always tweeting like, straight people suck. And I mean, it's like, it's child. Everyone's become a fucking child. Stop it. You look like a petulant teenager. We're living in a country now where nobody gets smacked in the face for being a petulant teenager. Have you ever seen a child smacked in the face? It is a beautiful thing to hear it. You hear it? It is a beautiful thing to see. And I don't mean a child. I mean like a young teen, a kid that's almost too old to get hit. That's beautiful. When the hand makes contact with a face that is almost too old to get hit, where they're more shamed than they are hurt. Shamed. Just a smack across the face, a crack across that face, where they have a red face and they're deeply ashamed because they realize they're still a baby. It's like a dog who thinks they're a dog, but you're still a puppy. There's something beautiful about corporal violence towards children who are on their way to becoming adults. It is so essential. I don't mean horrible beatings where they're being tortured, although I think that's on a case by case. What I will say is that it's a nation of adolescents. That's what it is, it's a nation of adolescents. Straight people suck. Stop it. Fuck you. And you start going like, and of course, the whole idea here is that people cannot hear things they don't want to hear because it so affects them that they're unable to go on about their daily life. The response to the Chappelle special, the response to literally anything that has happened in the past, in recent memory, is the idea that people are so incapable of hearing a disagreement, hearing a different idea. Anything that they hear contributes to a culture of violence that victimizes them. Anybody. And then I see these very kind of childish tweets from people that I know, some of these people I like, and they're very... I was watching one of these comics the other day and they just kept saying queer people of color, queer people of color. I can perform now with queer people of color. It's very interesting to perform with queer people of color. It's queer people of color. So many rooms and supportive communities of queer people of color and queer people of color. Everywhere I look, there's queer people of color. If I get in my car and if I get in an Uber and I don't see queer people of color, I get scared. But it's good to go into a supportive room of queer people of color. Sometimes every night I look in my cupboard and there's queer people of color. And thank God I opened the hot chocolate milk and the hot chocolate mix. And inside with the marshmallows, there's queer people of color in the powder. And I'm so happy because God forbid I was somewhere without queer people of color. Have you ever been somewhere without queer people of color? It's terrifying. And you listen to these people and the way they just repeat these mantras, they repeat these things over and over again. That I just want to be in a room with people like me. I just want to be in a room with people like me. What if you said that? What if you dropped the pretense and stopped saying queer people of color? How ugly and horrible would it sound if you said, God, I just want to be in a room with people like me? Imagine if a guy like me said that, nobody knew I was gay. Imagine if somebody said that. I just want to be in a room full of people like me. It is the most obnoxious and grotesque statement, the most horrible configuration of words you could ever utter. I just want to be around people like me. You know what I mean? But yet, it's said now all the time, and as long as you use like queer people of color, women of color, you're okay. You just go, I just want to be around people like me. And I'm listening to comedians talk about this. People that are supposedly comedians. People that are supposed to look at all the conventions of society and go, what's wrong with them? Where can I poke fun at them? Where are the holes? Sitting on the outside of it looking and going, yeah, I'm a member of society. I'm a human being, but I'm also a fucked up, weird person, which is why I'm a comedian, which is why I look at the world constantly and go, what's wrong with this or what's up with that? I don't mindlessly parrot talking points. We all have, phases of our life where we do that when you're a teenager. All these people, I think, just want to go out and throw eggs at Halloween. That's what Twitter is. It's throwing eggs. I did that when I was in 7th grade. We've talked about it on the show. I hung out. The popular kids invited me to go throw eggs and shaving cream. It was a lot of fun. Like, the faggoty kids, and I don't mean that in a gender term because none of the kids I'm talking about ended up being gay. One of them maybe, but the majority of them were like, sweater kids. Like their parents put them in sweaters. And then there were like hoodie kids. Kids with hoodies, kids with starter jackets, cool kids. And then there were like sweaters kids who like came in like an old sweater, and like when they said, "Do you want to hang out?" They'd be like, "My mom." They'd use their mom. They'd be like, "My mom says that you can come over." But the cool kids in the hoodies would be like, "Yo, you want to hang out?" They use the word "hang out," and the regular parents hated that because hang out means drugs and unsupervised time. And unsupervised time leads to many things, drugs, fights, And so parents didn't like that. They're like, we don't like hanging out. We like structured time, play dates. So I was like, fuck, Halloween, this was 7th grade. I'm like, I'm going to have to. 7th or 8th grade, I forget. I said, I'm going to have to hang out with the sweater kids. And, the sweater kids had like some party where you would go there, and their parents were very friendly. They're not bad people, right? They become the accountants and the lawyers. They become the podiatrists. They become the people that, manage. They do the middle management jobs. They're good people. They like football on Sunday. They enjoy barbecue. A lot of these guys I'm still friendly with that were the sweater kids. Like they will, their entire life goal seems to be to like make a brisket. When they smoke their own brisket, they put it up on Facebook and they go, I smoked a brisket, because they feel like they have a piece of meat between their legs. They feel like a man because they're so emasculated, by a big woman with ribeye steak feet who just trounces around their house and tells them what to do. No human is illegal. Black lives matter. And you go, yes, honey. And then you go into your office and you talk about the UFC fight that you watched. Because you imagine what it would be like to be a man and fight another man. And these are not bad people, again, the sweater kids, but I was invited by the hoodie starter jacket kids to go throw eggs and shave and cream cars and create chaos and vandalism and make the cops do something for a living. Actually work. And I was excited. I'm like, thank God. And I did that. And it was important. I think that that's what people want to do. Everybody wants to get invited to throw eggs. And now that everyone has Twitter, they can throw eggs all day. And it's vandalism. Really what it is Twitter's just vandalism. Just graffiti. You're just tagging up a wall and getting out of there. That's all social media. Just tag up the wall and get out. Straight people, duck. Everyone's queer. Tag it up, leave. But that's what I've noticed, like a lot of adolescent
and then exit right.
People. I'm in this hotel in the Midwest, and there's all these big bovine men and women here that I remember when I was at when I was on debate team, we used to go to a lot of these schools, and the Midwest has a lot of speech and debate because all they do is eat and talk here and watch sports, right? It's not like a place like Denver or wherever else, LA, where people are really into their bodies, right? Here they're into their minds. They read. Their amazing comedy audiences are great. We used to do a lot of debate tournaments at places like this, and they were always like one of the women's name was Gretchen, and she was a big coach, and they're just kind of bovine people, and they all have the university ID badges. They wear them around their neck, and they just kind of like loaf around these hotels and just eat and just listen to people talk. And I saw a bunch of them, not per se debate, but a lot of those academic people, and I think that's a lot of academic people, or just very large, robust, somewhat slovenly people that are, very consumed with theory and the way things should work, and I look at these people and I go, it would be better to walk around the block instead of sending that tweet. Like it would be for me, for them, for all of us, for everyone, for society writ large, for all of us. It's not a critique that's aimed at any one group of people, but it is a little silly when you see people that are in excess of, one of the, because I'm overweight, I've never tried to tell anyone what to do with their health because of COVID, because I think that as a comedian, there's got to be an irony there. As a comic, if you're a good comedian, you should see the irony in being 300 pounds, having done cocaine, having done many drugs, talking about it, being very honest about it, and then telling people how to be healthy. But I see it all the time, and people don't realize the irony. Big boys and girls, glistening with butter, using their, cupcake-sized fingers to tweet advice to people like Joe Rogan. Now, Joe has spent his entire life doing fitness, Muay Thai, or who gives a fuck, whatever it is. The elliptical, weight training, this is what he does. So why would you give him advice on, it's just, again, as a comedian, there should be, something should stop you. You should go, let's talk about this great resignation. How many people are leaving their jobs? Everybody's leaving. Now, if you remember, during the early aughts of the stimulus, people were complaining that nobody was working. I was talking to a lot of business owners, and again, we're not talking big business owners, but small business owners who could not find help. And I did a legendary call on the podcast to Sonic, which should have been shared, by the way, by every leftist in America, and wasn't. Everybody who purports to care about the worker should have shared that on Twitter. And it's not about me, it's about the message. Was that convincing? It's not about me, it's about the message. But Sonic was paying people $4 an hour, and I knew that there's more to the story because a lot of these jobs don't pay people what they should be making. Now, some of those jobs, warehouse jobs that are $15, $17 an hour, that is kind of in the realm of what, a proposed federal minimum wage would be. So if you can't fill those jobs, you do start thinking, wait a minute, something is funny, something's wrong. But I, especially with the fast food jobs, wanted to illustrate, and I didn't even know what would happen when I called Sonic, but we found out pretty quickly that Sonic was telling their employees to survive on tips, which we did not even know that you could get tips at Sonic. I've been to Sonic. I had no idea that you could tip. I've never gotten, and by the way, is there a better strawberry shake?
It's really good.
Why do you whisper like that?
It's so good. It's so good.
It is very good. I didn't know why you whisper. It's very strange when you do that. It's so good. The people are paying money for this. I think you can enunciate your words.
Yeah.
You've been very interesting lately. You're like not sleeping. You're all over the place. Are you back to nicotine or are you off nicotine?
I'm off nicotine. Swear to God, 2 weeks.
Okay, very good. You're very giddy. You're like a 14-year-old girl who's newly non-binary. Like you're you're just excited to be alive.
Yeah, I am. I'm
Good.
happy.
That's good. Pipe down. Sonic is telling the people you're gonna make $4, but you can tip, and then you can take food home for like your baby. You can take a tot home for your tot. You could take tots home for your tots. And I broke this down on the show, on air, right? And it was shared by absolutely no one because I'm an evil something or other. I don't know what, every day changes, but you'd think they would just, like they just did with the Bill Maher thing about Trump, they'd be like, well, we hate the guy, but this is a good point. And maybe more people did that than I think, I don't know. I'm gonna find that and retweet it again. But then they yanked the stimulus, and the conventional wisdom was that after the stimulus had ended, people would go back to work. But now that people have a little money, they've saved a little money, I guess. They have a little freedom, a little leverage, because there are more jobs opening. What is going on out there, Ben? Because I have some advice for people that are looking to better their circumstances with getting another job. But
yeah, so this is significant because it's a record of 4.3 million people quit their jobs in August. The number two big ones were food and retail, obviously, and then third was healthcare. But employment vacancies fell to 10.4 million during the month, a drop of 659,000 from July's 11.1 million.
This is the time now. This is the time. If you want to get a better job, right now they say employers are not hyper-focused on things like college degrees. By the way, this is the market to get a job that you really want, try to get in there, and then keep it and hold it for a while. When the job market tightens a bit, it may be harder to get that job.
And also, you do have to factor in that people are leaving because of health concerns and child care issues unique to the pandemic circumstances. So
Right.
that is an added thing. But what you're really seeing is that there's just a level of confidence from workers that they feel that they are secure in finding something elsewhere that they would actually like, rather than accepting their circumstances that they're in.
Right.
So that's really what's going on.
Well, it's also, there are industries that you think you've been locked out of that you can now maybe get into.
Yeah.
You know? And also the vaccine mandates, people are walking out. They're saying, fuck it. I don't want to work if I have to get this shot, if I have to get the jab. So that has opened up a lot of, I guess, slots at these companies. I am considering leaving this job, and to be honest, to go work as a nurse. Because I thought, do you think it'll get to a point where, even though I don't have a college degree, and I'm not an RN, a registered nurse, or an LPN, or I don't have any degrees or qualifications, could I, maybe because of a shortage, just become a nurse? Here's why I want to become a nurse.
Okay.
Because I want to be a hero. I also want to be someone who has witty banter with dying people. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, I want to have witty banter with people who are expiring. I want to walk in a room, do a little shuffle, get a little laugh, and then the next day, walk into that room and it's empty. You know what I mean? There's something powerful about that. I want to be the last person people hear. I want to be the last person people hear. I want to be able, when people are at their most vulnerable, to be able to get my ideas across to them. Like, I would like to go into their room at night and talk to them and tell them what I think. I don't think that's a bad move. So that's kind of what I want to do is be a nurse. I'm a little sick of this. You know, that's my goal, and I'm sure that it's not supported widely, but nothing I ever do is. But here's my advice to you. If you're out there and you're like, I want a better job. This is uniquely American advice. Find a friend who has the job you want. Okay? Now, you know better than me how to do this. How do you, and this is an interesting question for you, because you're not a tech genius, but you're somewhat good, right?
Okay.
How do you download child porn onto someone's computer? How do you do that? How do you do that? Because if you find a friend that has a job you want and you download child porn onto their computer, or you can get them maybe swatted and arrested and then take their job. Right? How do you do that?
You have a friend in the CIA or in the.
Do you need Well, do you really need that? There's no other way to do it?
Well, they can control everything on the computer. They can control the iOS on your phone. We know this from the Vault 7 files, remember? So
Yeah.
if you just have a friend...
But people don't have those connect. I'm trying to get people working. I'm trying to get people working.
Okay.
And they don't always have the government. They need to download child porn onto their friend's computer so they can get their job. What the fuck's wrong here? It's 2021. It's America. I'm not saying watch the porn, but get it on that guy's computer and get him out of there.
I got an idea.
Please, I'm all ears.
So you're talking about how do you get a guy who's just from the mailroom up? Like that guy has no connections, bottom of the barrel guy in society, right? He needs to get a thumb drive of CP, which I just download it from maybe the public library.
Right, good idea.
You give that to because that goes on all the time.
Right.
That no one cares. You take that thumb drive and
Well, you're on camera doing that, but whatever, keep going.
it's fine. And then you dress like a homeless person, just like a crazy
If you
person.
get caught downloading CP to child porn at the library, don't blame this on us. I'm telling you, it's one route. It's not the only route, but this is a route. Now, what do you do with it when you have it?
You befriend a night janitor at the place the guy works at, and the night janitor goes and puts it on the guy's computer. You give the guy, I don't know, $4,000, $5,000. Boom,
Wait a
done.
minute, we're giving a night janitor $5,000 to put a little CP on someone's computer? Are you out of your mind?
Maybe handle vodka.
5,000. Yeah, let's rein it in. $5,000. Now, you gotta be. Now, after the guy goes down for the CP, you gotta get in there, and this is not bad advice. You gotta get in there, and you gotta kind of know about the situation, but play it very cool. Like, you gotta be one of those people, like on the interview where you go, listen, I love this institution, and I don't blame you for everything that happens here. I think that we all have a job to do, and I think this is a great company, and I think it's a company with character and values, and let's just say I haven't been dissuaded by some of the things floating around the news. Just very kind of nonchalantly, basically let them know that you still believe in that company. This is an idea. It's not the only idea,
Keep
right?
left and then turn left.
But it is an idea. I think getting a job, and Ben will tell you this, the requirements for getting a better job in life, sink your teeth into a human being and make them believe they need you. That is so underrated. Make someone believe they need you by sinking your teeth into them and emotionally manipulating them.
Get ready.
Set up
Right.
this world where you continually are rescuing them,
Right.
and you're the person that they need. They will in turn never question their generosity to you, or never question the fact that you and your wife constantly do nothing but plot to undermine them and ultimately probably physically harm them when you believe it's the most beneficial. But I'm happy that there's people out there trying to, listen, man, these are all of my jobs in my life. The first job I had, I helped my mother. I was a helper. My mother was a fat swim teacher, which is very good. Swim teachers should be fat for little children because the little children like them. They're like big buoys. It's true. Everyone's like, oh, shouldn't swim teachers be thin? It's like, no. People don't understand the way bodies work. Swim teachers should be like buoyant, And I was a helper. And then I got a job as a busboy, a waiter, busboy, kitchen staff. That lasted a month and a half. Was not good at that. Then my next job after that was a lifeguard. I was a lifeguard in high school. Then after that, of course, actor was first, 6 years old, right? Actor was number one. After lifeguard, I started working in mortgages. And after mortgages, I got a job. I was doing comedy, and I got a job at a... What did I do? Telemarketing office equipment. And then after telemarketing office equipment, I became an account executive at that company, a sales rep, selling copiers, photocopiers, leasing them, to be more specific. After that job, I got a job as a tour guide on a double-decker bus. That was the last job and job interview I had. So those are all my jobs. Those are my jobs. In mortgages, I had like 3 or 4 jobs, 3 or 4 different companies. Those are all my jobs. Let's go through your positions.
Oh.
Your jobs.
Okay. All
of the jobs that you had before you woke up one day and rolled over into a bank vault.
Okay, first job was a summer job working for Lauren Engineering.
I don't care anymore. Let's go over this again, because already I know I'm saving you the time, folks. Can you imagine how boring and horrible that would have been? Can you imagine the time we all would have devoted to that? Immediately, just the name, he said, what, Lauren Engineering?
Yeah, it's a construction company
for
oil modules.
Immediately I know it's a waste of all of our time. It's a waste of my time, your time, his time. We can't do it. We'll all be in the dark about your life. Sorry about that. But I do wish everybody who's out there... By the way, I want to say to anyone that doesn't know anything about this show, go and listen. Dude, what is going on at Southwest? This is the airline that you and your wife constantly take.
No.
Yes, you do, and you love it. It's a disgusting airline. And it's like old, like granola hippie grandmas and like retards and like just the worst types of people. They're all happy to be on Southwest. They're thrilled to be there. And they're going on some meaningless excursion.
Well, they wanted 56,000 of their employees to get vaccinated. It was a mandate. So now they're
so that's what it is.
Yeah. They've canceled thousands and thousands of flights. There's no workers.
Right.
So it's just going to be this standoff, I guess. Until
Southwest has said that it wasn't that, but it is that. There's nothing else it could be. It's not weather. They're lying. They're like, it's weather. It's not weather.
Here's the news. Southwest CEO, this is from CNBC. Southwest CEO says he never wanted a COVID vaccine mandate, but Biden forced his hand. I've never been in favor of corporations imposing that kind of mandate. I'm not in favor of that.
It's a very stupid mandate. It's a very stupid mandate. It's wreaking havoc on the economy. It's a very bad idea. It's an incredibly stupid idea. It's an incredibly stupid idea.
Yeah, he says the CEO said he doesn't want to do it, but he just has to comply with federal rules put in place by the Biden administration. So he went on Squawk in the street.
Well, you know, at a certain point, I think when the cases are low right now, perhaps people are going to get over this. But, you know, I don't know that that's going to happen either. If there's blood in the water like there is now, you might see the Biden administration have to walk this back.
Do you think they will?
Well, they may not have a choice, right?
Right.
As of right now, he's probably not getting reelected. This is the main thing. And I don't think Biden will win again, but I mean the Democratic Party. As of right now, with the economy, with inflation, with the prices of chicken wings are $10. I mean, the prices of things are going up. $5 gasoline in New York, $6 in Beverly Hills. The crisis of surging prices is nowhere near ending.
Food shortages.
So you have all of these things happening. You have shortages, you have prices going up, you have inflation, you now have these mandates, you have walkouts. You are creating the conditions for a precipitous just decline across the board, an economic catastrophe. And if that happens, I can't see the Democrats getting back in. They should have chilled with the mandates. They should have just came in. They should have left it up to states. They should have not done a federal mandate. It was a bad idea. They probably know it's a bad idea. And everything's been sloppy. The Afghanistan withdrawal, which I ultimately agreed with, was a little sloppy. There's not that much you can do about it. But The ultimate goal for all of these politicians is to continually get elected. That's all they really want to do. As long as solving the problems, quote unquote, air quotes, solving the problems, also get them elected, they're in. If it doesn't, then they're like, fuck that. So, go and listen to the BetterHelp ad that me and Ray Kump did. It's an episode called Please Come Kill Us. It's on YouTube. The BetterHelp ad that we did, it's just maybe one of the greatest broadcasting we ever did. Ray Kump will be at the Beacon Theater, which is sold out, for a mini podcast. We're going to do a mini podcast. Getting Ray on stage at the Beacon Theater in New York City will be absolutely hilarious. We'll be there November 11th. Very upset and sorry to cancel the shows in Milwaukee on Saturday. We're getting a good amount of those people are coming back tonight. We had some of them there last night. And I'll be back in Madison in a couple of months. We're doing everything we can because I talk so much and because I do stand up when I do 2 hours of podcasting and then 2 hours of stand up with a flight. You know, it doesn't happen all the time. But every now and then I lose my voice. Usually it's not on a show day and I can just kind of chill. And usually if it's in New York or LA, I can really go get a doctor. But in Milwaukee, tomorrow we're going to do Smiley Face Killer episode. When is that coming out? Next week?
That'll be next
on
week.
The Patreon.
That'll be the 19th.
And if this guy's a fraud, we're going to call him right out to his face.
Yeah.
But I don't think he will be. I think this guy, what if we get there and he's like, I'm killing these kids? I don't think he will be there. Demi Lovato says, do not call people aliens. Good for her. What is the exact quote from Demi Lovato?
She said, calling extraterrestrials aliens is offensive. She's currently hunting UFOs in her new documentary. Let's see. I think we have to stop calling them aliens because aliens is a derogatory term for anything. I call them ETs, the 29-year-old singer added.
What if they don't like that? But she knows that it's irrelevant, right?
Yeah, she's just jumping on the UFO train.
Smart. Well, she's also saying wacky shit.
Yeah.
Anything to not write another song. I would do that. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't call aliens aliens. They don't like it. And she Googles herself. She goes, oh, good. Oh, good, it worked. Nobody has a job. Everybody has time to talk about what Demi Lovato is saying. Wasn't she doing heroin a year ago? Who cares? I think she's talented. God bless her. But, you know, TimDillonComedy.com for all live dates. If you've lost your job or if you're leaving your job, we wish you the best of luck. We hope you find a better position down the road.
Why won't Southwest just come out and say what it is? They're saying it's like because of weather and stuff and because of like staff. It makes no sense. It has to be, everyone politicized it immediately, but like it has to be about the vaccine mandate, right?
Well, because I think they probably don't want to lose the people that are like very into the vax, right?
Right.
Because like people like my aunt, their minds have melted. My aunt's like, I got the booster. Like it's like they're happy. The vaccine made their life. Getting a vaccine made them happy. It gave them something to believe in. So I think Southwest doesn't want to lose those lunatics because they travel.
Right.
Those crunchy granola pussy grandmas are going to go stomp around national parks and are going to fly there. Don't want to hear that a lot of people don't want to get the vax. And then Southwest also doesn't want to lose the people on the other side, you know, that are like, fuck you, you're making this. So they just want to get out of the game.
Got it.
Of politicizing it. But we all know what it is.
It came a day after the mandate.
We know what it is. Was it a day after?
It was 2 days after. It was 2 days after.
What, when everyone had to be vaccinated to work?
Yeah, that's what I just found. Let me find that again. Southwest canceled more than 2,000 flights over the weekend, just days after the company told employees that they would need to get vaccinated to keep jobs.
Let me tell you why no one can get anything done. You know what those Southwest flight attendants should have done instead of just walk out? Do a 9/11. No, truly. To make a point. Like to do a 9/11. Like, that would wake people up if they're really upset about it.
Yeah.
Do 9/11. What if 4 Southwest planes crashed into the CDC? I'm just using this as an intellectual example. 4 Southwest, like those funny Southwest flight attendants, are like, hey, y'all, glad you're here on Southwest. Well, today's going to go a little differently than you think. You know the federal government's put out a mandate requiring all of us to be vaccinated to do our job. Well, I don't know about y'all, but I grew up in America and I love the red, white, and blue, and this don't sound too free to me. So what we're going to do today, now you may notice that me and several of the women up here have weapons. And the reason we have weapons is because we are commandeering this aircraft and we are going to make demands. Now, if they do not remove this federal vaccine mandate, we're going to take this plane and, Lord help us, we're going to fly into the CDC. So I'd like you to keep your seatbelts on, although it really doesn't fucking matter. If they keep this mandate, I know I'm a fun mom from a suburb of Dallas, but I'll tell you what's going to happen. We are going to rain holy hell jet fuel down on those motherfuckers. Now, if they did something like that, I think it would be a little bit more impactful. Yes or yes? TimDillonComedy.com, live dates on there. Thanks.